National Eczema Society is raising awareness of the huge impact eczema can have on people's lives. Our campaign is highlighting how this complex medical condition affects people's mental health and emotional well-being. Because eczema really is more than just an itch.
When I was younger, my eczema was much more visible than I think it is right now. My face was permanently red and swollen and skin flaking off it, essentially. I wasn't able to walk upright because my eczema was so raw on my stomach, on my neck, on my arms. So anywhere I went, people stared at me. At school, people were staring at me. On the street, I had grown adults staring at me. Unfortunately, that made me a bit of a walking target at school.
It might just be an itch, but try having that itch follow you around all your life, almost. Like there is sort of no real escape from it. Well, that's what it feels like anyway. Like no matter how well you look after it, it is there.
The pain alone would have me up at night, unable to sleep, itching my skin, but knowing that the itching isn't helping and only making the skin worse.
I think people see eczema as a skin condition and it's something that you get red skin and you put cream on it. I don't think people realise how severely it can affect other aspects of your life.
I wake up in the morning and I've got red eyelids and dry skin. Just can't help get this feeling, but I don't really feel up for today. I think people just assume it's, just a bit of itchy skin, but it's far more than that. People maybe don't appreciate the courage that it takes to go out every day with something that looks, to be quite frank, as bad as eczema sometimes, because it is, especially when I was younger, I felt embarrassed.
I would say there's times where I feel self-conscious when I'm going through a flare-up with a partner. I may not want to see them at that time. I may not be as affectionate because I don't want them to feel how rough my skin is.
As I got older and sort of more aware of the way I was feeling, it made me much more conscious of the way that I looked and the way that other people viewed me. I noticed I'd think negatively about myself more than I would feel positive about myself.
I know a lot of people think that when they're walking in a room, but for me, it was the case for several years that it was people talking about me, saying really horrible stuff. And it made me incredibly isolated and stressed, which made the eczema worse. So it's this vicious cycle of the skin making bullying worse, the bullying making my skin worse, and I couldn't get out of that cycle.
I was sort of feeling isolated, I suppose, in the way that, even though it was almost self-inflicted by the way that I reclused and kept away from everything, it felt at the time like there wasn't anything that was going to make it better, and that I was just going to be like this forever. I think at the time and for a period afterwards, I'd fallen into the stigma of, men don't talk about their mental health. It's just not the done thing, you just bottle it up and get on with it and just be a man. And I think, looking back, perhaps if I had spoke to people about it, it might not have got as bad as it did.
It's relating the fact that the physical symptoms don't always relate to how you feel mentally. Like when I've been to the doctors when my skin was at its worst, my mental health was never mentioned. It's as if people don't realise that the physical symptoms affect the mental symptoms.
I think not understanding how much mental health can affect your skin is a big part of the problem, because once you can acknowledge how much stress and anxiety or different aspects of mental health are affecting your flare-ups, you can almost take control of the situation.
now that I'm comfortable talking about it with my friends. I think it was right to build up that courage to talk about it with people I don't know and help where I can, because I'm quite comfortable with where I am now. I still have bad days, but I know how to get over them, and I'd really like it if people could get to this, or my position, or better, far sooner than I did.
Nobody I've spoken to has ever actually had the negative reaction I've maybe expected they might have. But sharing my experience and my story with friends, with colleagues, has been really powerful and meant that they're better able to support me. And I'd say that it's not always going to be like you feel right now.
Eczema really is more than just an itch. And the mental health impacts of eczema are so often overlooked. Patient surveys show that adults with eczema experience higher anxiety, depression, embarrassment, self-consciousness, and suicidal feelings. That's why it's important to talk and reach out for help. Let's keep the conversation going.